So for the world, the few people that don't know you, just a few, can you give a little context on you, where you're from, what you're doing, and how you got into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Mark. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of Hackajob. We founded Hackajob 10 years ago now. I was in my final year at college or university in London. My co-founder had this insight that like the way hiring was done by traditional staffing agencies was absolutely bonkers. And could we build a skills-based approach to hiring software engineers? Way before LinkedIn made skills-based hiring cool.
Yes.
And we iterated a bunch. It's been an incredible journey. We've raised a fair amount of money from investors. 2.5 years ago, I moved to New York. Managed to keep the British accent, but very much enjoying US life to scale the business here. And more recently, we've just rolled out a bunch of new products, leveraging some really cool technology to help companies hire beyond tech, which has been really exciting.
So, and you know, I'm a fan. So, I mean, just give everybody my bias. I'm a fan. You're the triplets. Why now? And had that been a part of your plan, or is it a pivot because of how quickly things are changing?
It's such a brilliant question. No one's asked me it that way before, actually. We were super fortunate. We closed a $25 million investment in March 2023. That was like 4 or 5 months after ChatGPT came out.
Yeah.
And so very quickly, we ran a small internal hackathon leveraging large language models and was like, you know, does this change anything? And bear in mind, it's easy to forget this now. 12 months prior, Web3 and crypto was all the rage.
Right.
And there were all of these TA solutions that were like Web3 and crypto and blockchain based. And so I think you have to be kind of naturally skeptical as a founder of like, you know, is this all hype or is this actually going to change something?
Right.
But we very quickly saw that like a lot of the technology we had built was around matching talent to jobs, and large language models fundamentally changed how we could do that.
Right.
And so we made a lot of mistakes, but decided to rebuild the core platform from scratch. And that culminated in Hackajob Intelligence last summer. And our view's always been that if you invest in the matching layer and you get that really, really well, then you can build the agents on top. And so it's always been our goal to build agents. Candidly, if you had asked me the summer of 2024, when we released Hackajob Intelligence, would they be these agents? No.
Yeah.
I was actually a little bit skeptical on voice, and I didn't think that the technology was there.
Yeah.
And now 2 of our agents are entirely voice-based. And so I think that you have to be willing.
And you're won over.
Yeah.
Won over.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
And you have to, you know, I've said this before, in this environment where things are changing so quickly, you have to be comfortable saying, I used to believe, but now I believe.
Yes.
And you have to have that fluidity and mental plasticity. So yes, Hackajob Intelligence has been very deliberate. The agents on top has been a lot of reaction to both the technology involving and speaking to customers.
So you're first of all, congratulations. I haven't said that as intentionally as I should have before this. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're not, now, I'm going to say this from an outsider's perspective. You are not the only option on the block.
For sure.
We walk around here earlier, you know, check everything out. Someone could argue, well, they do a bit of that, they do a bit of that, they do a bit of that. Is the market too crowded?
Yeah, 100%. And clearly, you know, I've done RecFest for a long time. I've done the 3 in the US, and there's a bunch of new vendors this year. And my suspicion is some of them will go on and be the next Paradox in smart recruiters and get acquired. And some of them won't be here in 2 years. And that's the nature of the beast. I think it's a very noisy time. I was at HR Tech a few weeks ago where we also made fast friends. And, you know, I felt sorry for bluntly practitioners right now because every vendor's claiming the same thing. And it's really hard to see like actually what's actually going on. I think the thing that we've got that's pretty unique is 10 years of data.
Yeah.
And data's really, really powerful when it comes to AI and large language models. Like we've been able to fine tune our own models. We've been able to leverage a lot of that data in a really powerful way. And secondly, we already operate at meaningful scale. You know, we partner with American Express and Comcast and Disney. And so when we build something, we can deploy it quite quickly. So Chase, our AI recruiter, is doing 15,000 conversations a week. That's just like an incredible amount of data that we're then able to use and iterate and improve. So for sure, it's crowded. It's very, very noisy. And I think that we'll see that change over the next 12 months as customers start adopting this technology and start sharing their stories.
So do you feel like from a founder perspective, I mean, 10 years ago, being a founder of a tech company and today being a founder of a tech company, it's like really, really different. We may have folks that are one of the things that I've noticed this year is in a couple of different places, the incubation area, startup kind of area. One, a little bit less in numbers. Two, a lot. I mean, I was at one and 4 products in the same row were doing the same exact thing, right?
Yeah, totally.
And so this entrepreneurial consideration, the hunger might be there, but what you're solving for is kind of like what that one's doing and that one's doing right next to you, right? So that can become discouraging to the creative process because we need these entrepreneurs to approach it differently.
For sure.
So now you are almost in that mentor kind of role 10 years later. Almost. So some guy sitting next to you who's been at something for almost a year and is just going out to see if he can raise some money. What are you saying to him?
Well, firstly, I don't see myself as a mentor. I see myself as a young buck that's still trying to learn. But maybe I should change that mindset. Yeah, maybe I should change that mindset. What's really interesting is 10 years ago when I co-founded this business, there were 200 people in my class at King's College London. And I was maybe one of 2 people that went and founded a company, right? Everyone else went into banking, went into maybe even big tech back then, consulting, etc. Fast forward 10 years, I suspect there's far more people that are becoming entrepreneurs, which I think is generally a good thing. Though what I would say is it's not for everyone.
No.
And I think that doing something for 10 years, doing anything for 10 years teaches you a lot of resilience and grit. And bluntly, if you're a year in and you're having self-doubts around fundraising, around these things, maybe you should say, this isn't for me. Yep. And I actively encourage people not to go and fundraise and actually really understand what it is you're building, understand the game that you're playing. Because when you go and raise $25 million at hundreds of millions of dollars of valuation, you're making a commitment to sell the company one day or go IPO one day.
Yep.
And, I love this space, but there's not a lot of massive outcomes. And so I think being an entrepreneur has become cool. And that's good because I think we want more people creating companies, but I think naturally it will encourage people to start businesses that maybe a year in realize that's not for them. And that's also totally cool. But I don't think that any advice from me is going to help with your discouragement. You have to have that inner conviction and belief.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's well said because I think everybody kind of wants to find my issue is always like this Shark Tank mentality that I watched the show and these dudes talked about whatever, this young lady came in and presented this and Mark Cuban was like, I'll give you $100 million. And that's such a small, it's a fraction of a percent where something like that will happen.
Yeah.
And so we sort of sell this dream a bit broader than we should because I think you're right. You're either IPO or you're getting acquired and we're seeing a lot of acquisition, right, for that. But I will make sure that I take a minute, and we've got a couple minutes left, that I take a minute though to talk about the average recruiter that's here, who isn't a part of those kinds of conversations on the IPO, on the acquisition side, on the approach side of things. They're looking to find tools that will help them do their work better, efficiently, with the right productivity. So if you're a recruiter and you're walking around here, what kinds of questions should they be asking?
Oh, that's such a great question. And a big shout out actually to the Career Crossroads guys. They've got an amazing online resource that you can download that you should ask about AI vendors.
Yes. And Jerry Crispin is here.
Yes.
We want to make sure that
Jerry's enjoying some nice red wine
make sure
somewhere.
You bow appropriately when you see Jerry.
One of my favorite phrases in TA is we all kind of fell into it, right? We all fell into recruiting. We all fell into TA.
Yes, sir.
But we didn't fall into TA to sift 5,000 applications a month. That is fundamentally not what we should be doing.
Right.
And so the back of my T-shirt today says AI plus human. And we're really excited about where can you apply AI to empower humans, not replace humans. And so if I'm a recruiter, the first thing I'm doing is what are the things that I'm uniquely good at that AI isn't? That's going to be stakeholder management. That's going to be communicating with hiring managers. That's going to be translating TA topics to business impact.
Yes.
And it's also going to be delivering that exceptional candidate experience, right? And so it's like, great, how can I free up my time of not sifting 1,000 resumes a week or 1,000 applications a week, that then I get to reallocate that time to the higher value tasks and drive a bigger business impact. Yep. And my fear with speaking to both the average recruiter or TA leaders today is that everyone's talking about AI saving time. Not enough people are talking about how we're going to reallocate that time, because believe me, if you go to the CFO and say, hey, I saved 2,000 recruiting hours, 100%. They're going to say your team's now half the size.
Absolutely.
And so correct. I think we've really got to think about how we're reallocating that time.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that is well said. And, the other thing that I will just add to that is in the course of time, there was a day when, because I have a couple of years on you, there was a day where I literally sat with a stack of resumes that came in and cover letters, stapled or in an envelope. And I'm opening envelopes and I'm opening these and I'm reviewing them and I'm reviewing stacks of them. I've been in this world for 35 years. Now, while in some ways people can say, wow, that's a lot of time. But if you think about it, it's really not, in terms of how much has changed in that process. So if you're a recruiter walking around, I think you need to be asking also some future of work questions as well, 100%. Right? Because you've got a couple of years before the next thing could be happening.
Totally. And actually, I love this Jeff Bezos line, which is like, change is a constant, and what you need to bet on is what's going to stay the same. Right? And so actually, I believe we're still going to be hiring humans to do work. Right? Some people don't believe that, by the way. Some people believe that AI is going to take all the jobs. Yeah, right? I don't believe that.
I don't think so.
So if I believe that people are still going to need to get hired, and actually getting a new job is one of the most impactful life events that happens, which I think often we forget about when we see, sit in TA every single day.
Yep.
Then how that experience is done is going to be really important. That doesn't matter if it's old school physical resumes, if it's now some AI voice agent,
yep.
or whatever comes next, whatever the next big breakthrough is. It's like we still want to do and create that incredible experience. And all AI is another tool to enable us to do that. And I think it's the most exciting tool because we can do things that weren't technically feasible before. But that's how I think we should view it, because it's not like in 5 years' time, we're probably talking about something different.
Yep.
Right? Or 10 years' time, we're going to be talking about something different. And so it's not about like getting AI pilled and just understanding this. Yeah. It's like, actually, what is it that I want to optimize for?
AI pilled, another new one. Mark, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you being here.
Dude, big shout out to Purple Acorn crew. And thank you so much for having me on, my man.
Anytime.